I can't wait for New Year's Eve, I said. Old me who I paid for, I said. Actually, you're going to stay home. Your brother and his kids are moving into your apartment. Mom smiled. It's fine, I canceled the charges, changed my address, and when he showed up with the boxes, there was a for sale sign in the yard and a folder with his name on it. Mateo Rivas. I can't wait for New Year's Eve, I said, leaving the invitation and the event schedule on the kitchen table. Karen Seafood DJ until 3 a.m., rooftop view. This year is going to be different. Mom didn't even look at me. She was cutting cheese on the counter as calm as ever. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, she said. You're not going. I froze. What? We're going to the party, she said, putting the cheese in a container. Your father, me, and Mateo. I stared at her. You mean the party I paid for? Dad chimed in from the couch, without looking up from his newspaper. Technically, yes, but Mateo really needs it. You know what he's been through. I turned to my brother, who was standing in the doorway with his youngest child in his arms. He didn't look uncomfortable at all. Noelia has been a nightmare, he said, as if that explained everything. The kids are nonstop. I haven't had a break in weeks. So you're taking my place? I asked. At the party I paid for with the money I earned? You're going to do something more important, Mom said. You're going to stay home with the kids. Mateo needs a break. Are you serious? We're just asking you to lend a hand, she said. I didn't answer. You're not asking. You've already decided. Mateo shrugged. Come on, man. It's just one night. The kids love being with you. I laughed once humorlessly. Of course they do. I'm the only one who actually takes care of them. Watch your tone, Dad said, still not looking up from his newspaper. Oh, and one more thing, Mom added. Mateo is going to stay with you for a while. What? He can't afford rent since the divorce, she said, as if it were obvious. He'll move into your apartment with the kids, just until things calm down. I stared at her. You've decided to move him and his kids into my house without asking me? You live alone, Dad said coldly. There's space. I looked around. Mom was still cutting. Dad was reading. Mateo was already changing channels on the TV like he lived there. They had decided everything before I even walked in the door. Fine, I said quietly. Have fun. Mom looked up. Really? I said, turning and going to my room. I closed the door behind me. They thought I was angry. I wasn't. I was thinking about how to make sure that was the last time they used me like that. That night, I went back to my apartment and sat in the dark. They had already decided. That was clear. The party was no longer mine. My apartment was no longer mine. And apparently neither was my money. But this wasn't new. This had been brewing for months. Mateo moved back in with Mom and Dad after the divorce. First he said it would be temporary. Just until I find a new place, he told me. That was 5 months ago. Since then, every other conversation was about how hard everything was, how Noelia left him with nothing, how the legal bills were piling up, how being a single dad was so tough. I listened. I helped. I even gave him money. Small things at first. Can you cover the school shoes this month? Mind picking up diapers when you're out? Hey man, can you lend me 90 euros to fix the stroller? And of course I always said yes. I told myself it was temporary. I convinced myself I was doing the right thing. But then they started asking for more. One week it was 270 euros, just to catch up on a bill. The next it was groceries. Then gas money. Then Christmas presents for the kids. Because Noelia is being difficult. I didn't keep track at first. I should have. But by mid-December, I had sent him over 900 euros, and not once did he say thank you. Hey, Mateo said one afternoon while we were in the car. You're still living alone, right? Yeah, I replied slowly. Great. Your apartment has that second bedroom, right? I nodded, but something in his tone made my stomach clench. He smiled. It would be so much easier if I just moved in with you. I mean, no offense, but you don't even use that room. It's just sitting there empty. Are you serious? What's the point? I already feel like I've been camping at Mom's for ages. It's getting weird. You have space. You don't have kids, a partner. No, I replied. That same night Mom called. We've been thinking, she said. It would be a huge help if Mateo and the kids stayed with you after New Year's. What? It's not permanent, she added quickly. Just until he gets back on his feet. He needs a fresh start, and your apartment is quiet. It'll be good for the kids. Have you talked to Mateo about this? We all talked about it, she said, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. He's thrilled. He says the kids adore you. Great, I muttered. Because I haven't agreed to anything. She was silent for a moment. Then, don't make this about you. He's going through a hard time. That was the phrase I heard all year. Every time I tried to say no, it was don't be selfish. Every euro I gave was, you don't have kids, you can afford it. Every party, every favor, every weekend babysitting was just lend a hand. They called it family, but I was starting to understand what it really was. A one-way street. And I was always the one giving. The next morning, Mateo sent me a text with a picture of bunk beds. Think this setup would fit in the extra room? Not a can we talk? Not a are you okay with this? Just an assumption. I stared at my phone for a long time. Then I opened my banking app. I went through the transfers, the cash, the gift cards, the birthday presents, the pizza nights, the school trips, the bills I paid just this once. I added it up mentally, my jaw tightening. Over 1,800 euros gone since summer. And now he wanted my space too. I felt something hard settle in my chest. No one ever asked how I was. No one cared what I was sacrificing. They just wanted more. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with my eyes wide open, my mind racing through everything I should have said, everything I should have done sooner. And around 3 a.m., I stopped thinking and started acting. First, I turned on my laptop and canceled all the reservations. Terrazzo Azul, DJ Rafa, Mariscus El Galleon, Cava Freixnet Reserva. Then I called Banco de Valencia and canceled all the charges I had made for the New Year's Eve party. Each cancellation felt like cutting a string. Then I opened another tab and listed my apartment for sale. January 2nd arrived. The air was cold, the sky dull, but I felt clearer than ever. I had already moved into a rental apartment in Elche. Nothing fancy, just clean, quiet mine. I packed 2 suitcases and left everything else behind. No calls, no messages, just gone. But not without leaving something behind. On my old apartment door, I taped a large envelope. A thick, heavy folder with the name Mateo Rivas written on it in red marker. And in the front yard, a bright red and white for sale sign, staked firmly into the grass. 3:27 p.m. My phone lit up. Mateo, we're on our way. Kids are excited. Got everything packed, smiley face. I didn't reply. I was sitting in Don Ramon's cafe a few streets away, watching it all unfold through a live stream I had set up a week earlier. Just in case. 15 minutes later, he arrived in the Citroën Berlingo. Kids in the back seat, boxes, bags, a plastic crate overflowing with toys in the trunk. He parked, got out, stretched and smiled like he'd just arrived at Disneyland. And then he froze. His eyes landed on the sign. He stood there staring at the bold letters for sale. The smile vanished. He went up the steps. The door didn't open. The lock had been changed. Then he saw the folder. He ripped it off the door, opened it and started flipping through the documents. That's when the real show began. Inside the folder, page 1. Printed screenshot of the Terrazzo Azul reservation cancellation. Page 2. Email confirmation that Mariscus El Galleon Catering had been refunded, including the line client requested full cancellation due to fraudulent family interference. Page 3. A detailed spreadsheet of every euro I had given to Mateo over the last 12 months. Rent, groceries, clothes for the kids, school fees. All categorized by date and reason. And at the bottom, 3,460 euros. Unreturned. Unacknowledged. Unvalued. Page 4. A letter addressed to him. Mateo, you assumed too much for too long. Did you think I would always say yes? Did you think I had nothing better to do than sacrifice my time, my money, and my life to fix your mess? You were wrong. This isn't your house. This isn't your backup plan. This isn't your fresh start. The only thing waiting for you here is the realization that the free ride is over. Happy New Year. Page 5. A printed photo. A screenshot of a video call with his friend where he joked my brother is a loser, but he owes mom so it works out for me. Page 6. Copy of the contract with Immobiliaria Sol y March. Page 7. Official notice of the property listing. Page 8. Confirmation of my change of address. Page 9. Utilities transfer form. Page 10. Blank eviction form. Just for effect. Mateo stood there flipping through each page. His face slowly drained from red to white. "Dad, can we go in?" One of the kids yelled from the car. He didn't answer. He just stood there, holding the folder like it had just exploded in his hands. Minutes later, Mom and Dad arrived. They pulled up in the seat Leon, clearly intending to help Mateo settle in. Mom stopped dead in her tracks when she saw the sign. "Is this a joke?" she asked. Mateo silently handed her the folder. She scanned a few pages. Her face changed when she got to the spreadsheet, then the letter, then the screenshot with the loser comment. Dad didn't say anything. He just let out a long, low sigh. Mom looked at Mateo, her voice sharp. "You really said that?" "It was a joke," Mateo mumbled. Dad looked at the house, then the sign, then the kid still waiting in the car. "He's gone," he said quietly. Mom's phone vibrated. She opened it. It was a group message from me sent to all three of them. "Do not contact me. Not about the apartment, not about babysitting, not about money. You made your decisions. I made mine. It's over." That night, I didn't go to any party. I didn't pop champagne. I didn't count down. I didn't celebrate the way I thought I would. But I did something better. I sat on the floor of my new apartment in silence. I made a frozen pizza. I watched a stupid action movie. And I slept like a rock. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't owe anyone anything. And no one would ever walk through my door with boxes again. For the first 24 hours, it was silence. I left my phone off. I didn't check email. I didn't open social media. I thought maybe they had gotten the message. Maybe the folder had said it all. But of course not. On the night of January 3rd, my silence was broken. I was coming back from the supermarket when I saw the missed calls. 6 from Mom. 4 from Mateo. 2 from Dad. 1 from an unknown number. I turned my phone back on. I didn't want to read what they had to say. I already knew. That night they came in person. Started with a knock. I opened the door of my new rental apartment in Elche, already regretting it. It was Mom. She looked exhausted. Makeup smudged, eyes red. Coat improperly buttoned like she'd gotten dressed in a hurry. Behind her was Mateo, arms crossed. And Dad a few steps back, silent. "We need to talk," she said. "No, we don't," I replied, starting to close the door. She pushed it open with her hand. "You blindsided us." "No," I said calmly. "I protected myself." "That's different. You humiliated your family." She spat angrily. "Mateo didn't deserve that." I laughed. "Oh no? He didn't deserve to get a printed list of everything I did for him? He didn't deserve a little honesty for once." Mateo stepped forward, his voice rising. "You ambushed me. You could have talked to me like a man. You mean how you talked about me on the phone with your friend? Calling me a loser and saying I owe Mom." I shot back. He turned red. "It was a joke. It was a pattern," I retorted. "You used me for a year. Probably more." I finally said no. "And you don't like that." Dad spoke for the first time. "You didn't have to destroy everything. The party. The apartment. The folder." "The folder was the only thing that made you listen," I said. "I wasn't going to stop until I burned the bridge." Mom looked at me with that tight, angry smile she used when she was about to lay on the guilt. "We're your family. And I'm not your servant," I snapped. "You can't just show up here pretending I owe you an explanation. I don't." She looked like she was going to slap me, but instead she took a deep breath and stepped back. "You'll regret this. Someday you'll look back and see how selfish you were." "No," I said, stepping back inside. "Someday you'll look back and realize you lost the only person holding this whole mess together." And I closed the door. For the next few days I braced myself for more. And it came. Just in different forms. Texts. Guilt-tripping emails. A few voicemails with lines like, "We just want to talk." Mateo even tried sending the kids over with a card that said, "We miss you, Uncle Rodrigo." I didn't respond. Instead, I started therapy. I started fixing my finances. I opened a second account. I canceled my old credit card. I changed all my passwords. I told my boss I needed time. She gave me a week off, no questions asked. And for the first time, I spent time not doing anything for anyone else. Then came the twist. A week after the blow-up, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Normally I wouldn't have answered, but something told me I should. Hello. A pause. Then a soft voice. Rodrigo. Yes. My name is Marta. I'm Noelia's sister. My stomach churned. Noelia. Mateo's ex. The mother of his kids. I hope I'm not bothering you, she said gently. I just wanted to say thank you. What for? For everything you did for those kids. And for Noelia. Even for Mateo, even though he never appreciated it. I didn't know what to say. She continued. Noelia told me everything. The money, the moving plans, the party, the folder. She told me she never wanted them to move in with you. What? Mateo did all that behind her back. I was stunned. She only found out when the kids came back crying, saying they couldn't go to Uncle Rodrigo's anymore. She was furious. She said he had no right. And she asked me to tell you she's sorry for everything. I sat in silence, gripping my phone tight. And Marta hesitated. I don't know if you know this, but Mateo tried to take out a loan. In your name. My blood ran cold. What? Noelia found the paperwork. She used your information. She stopped him. Threatened to call the police. He backed down. But you should check your credit report. I didn't say anything. Marta continued, her voice shaky. I know you've cut them off. And honestly, you should have. But I just wanted to say thank you for not becoming another one of them. And the line went dead. I sat there for a long time. Then I opened my laptop and checked my credit report. And sure enough, there it was. A credit inquiry from a lender I had never contacted. He tried. He really tried. And that folder saved me from something much worse. They thought I was dramatic. That I was overreacting. That I was cruel. But the truth is, I got out just in time. I always thought cutting someone off would be a violent act. Like slamming a door. Like yelling. Like burning a bridge and watching the flames dance in the dark. But the truth is, it felt like silence. Big, deep, necessary silence. It's been a month now since I closed the door on everything. On my family. On the party. On the guilt. On the endless expectations. I wake up in a different apartment now. I walk different streets. I drink coffee alone. And no one asks me to buy diapers on my way home. No one texts me saying just a quick transfer this one time. It's quiet. But it's not empty. For the first time in years, silence feels like freedom. I started real therapy. I told my story out loud from start to finish. The part where I paid for everything. The part where my brother called me a loser behind my back. The part where my parents said I didn't need anything because I didn't have responsibilities. My therapist asked me a question that hit me like a train. What would happen if you stopped being useful? I already knew the answer. They would let me go. They already had. Because the moment I stopped paying, the moment I stopped giving, I stopped mattering. They didn't want me. They wanted what I did for them. And that realization broke something deep inside me. But when it broke, it made space. Space for me. My credit is locked now. My bank accounts are separate. I filed an anonymous report for the attempted fraud. Noelia texted me again, asking if I wanted to press charges. I told her no. I don't want revenge. I want distance. That's all. Mateo hasn't tried to contact me since. Neither has Mom or Dad. The last thing they sent me was a group text. You're dead to this family. It should have hurt. But it didn't. It felt like they were finally saying out loud what had always been true. And then something unexpected happened. A week ago, I got an email from Mateo's ex-wife, Noelia. Subject: Thank you. She told me she filed for full custody. That she moved to a different state with the kids. That she found a better job, a better school, a better life. She wrote, I always thought you were the quiet one. The one in the background. But I realize now, you were the only stable one. You were holding it all together while the rest of us used you. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. The kids miss you. I will never speak ill of you in front of them. If you ever want to write to them, they would love to hear from you. I cried when I read it. Not because I wanted back in their lives, but because for the first time someone saw me, really saw me, and said it. You're not selfish. You're not overreacting. You don't owe us anything. Just thank you. That was more than I ever got from my own parents. I don't regret what I did. Selling the apartment. Best decision of my life. Cutting them off. Long overdue. The folder, honestly, deserved an award. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. They thought they broke me. That I would come crawling back. That I would feel guilty. That I would feel alone. But the truth is this. I don't feel alone. I feel clean. I feel whole. And I feel like for the first time in my life, I own something they can never take away, myself. If you're reading this and you feel like your family only calls when they need something, if you ever lost yourself because you were living everyone else's life, if helping became a lifestyle you never signed up for, I want you to know something. You have the right to leave. You have the right to say no. You have the right to pack your bags, walk out the door, and never look back. You have the right to leave the folder on the doorstep and disappear. You don't owe them your life just because you share their blood. You don't owe them your silence. You owe yourself everything you've been giving away. And when they call you selfish, smile. Because the moment they say it, it means you finally stopped being their property and started being your own person.